And welcome back to the Monday Mornings with Mitch podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Morse, and I'm joined yet again by my good buddy, confidant, producer, co-host, and just a gem of a human. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it every time. Welcome to the show, Casey Hahi. Case, how are you today there, baby?
Doing great as always, Mitch. And today, I think we're expanding our viewership realm into the NCAA, college football.
Hello.
A place you're very familiar with.
If you can't tell by my hat and t-shirt.
Something you're very excited about.
Oh, you won't believe it.
I think it's actually going to be an awesome episode. Someone that could bring some serious insight into the NCAA, maybe the transfer portal.
Talk about it.
Maybe some other things. But it's pretty cool that we actually get a chance to sit down and talk to a head coach in the NCAA in college football.
And that head coach is none other than Eli Drinkwitz, entering his sixth season with the Missouri Tigers. Can't believe it's already been 6 years. The 2023 SEC Coach of the Year, on the cusp of another great season. We'll talk to him about all sorts of stuff, all facets of being a coach, and also being a family man while trying to be a good head coach. I'm excited, as you can tell. I got my stuff head to toe in Missouri gear, and I want to tell the folks that this might be the most nervous that I've been for a podcast. So sit back, relax, and Casey, tell us what we're going to do.
Well, you get to be able to talk to the head coach of your alma mater.
Yeah. So I hope I don't fuck it up. All right? Let's get into it. Here we go.
I've got a long list of real good reasons for all the things I've done, and regret is just a memory written on my brow, and there's nothing I can do about it now.
Now we welcome Eli Drinkwitz, the head coach of the Missouri Tigers. Coach, thank you for joining us. Yeah, dude.
Man, I appreciate it. When you asked if I would come on here, I said, well, we got to make sure we win first, because it's a lot easier to do these podcasts after a win than it is after a loss.
Well, yeah, you have quite the array behind you. I mean, the folks see, and I just feel like you're already you have a little more pep in your step after a win, right? You want to sit up a little bit more in your chair. The last thing you want to do is be half yourself. I mean, we appreciate you, and we totally understand when you said that. Like, that just made total sense to us. And because we know that you have some time constraints, rather, we're going to not talk about the Epstein files. We're not going to talk about the radiation belts, and we're not going to talk about the JFK assassination. We're just going to talk about Eli Drinkwitz. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer any questions about the Epstein files, whether about the radiation belt, and whether or not it was possible for Lee Harvey Oswald to get 3 shots off in 7 seconds. I don't have time to answer all those questions. But I will answer questions about Mizzou football.
I guess the first thing I should have noticed when I left my desk is I got 2 phones on there. And back in the day, that would have been bad for the NCAA. They'd have been wondering which one I was recruiting off of. But
sure,
now none of those rules apply anymore. So
yeah, do you keep one phone next to the nightstand? Do you keep both? Is there one for pleasure, one for work? How do you how do you navigate that?
So I've had one phone since I was 16 years old, right? And so that's got all my friends from high school and just people that have been with me throughout the whole journey. If I get a call on that number, it's usually, important, or it's a high school buddy playing a prank on me. The other one's a work number, and that's what I do all my school. That one stays with me all the time. The personal phone, I mean, I may leave it in my office, all day. I may leave it at the house. I just check it about once every 24 hours or so.
Once every 24 hours, it's a different world. It's a different world. And since we have you talking about this different world, can you explain to the Gentiles, the layman, how the hell do you navigate the NIL and transfer portal? Because you can't put it aside. Like, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Do you have a little extra sauce in this? Do you have a code? Do you have a game plan, a playbook that you go by? Or do you just kind of have to be fluid and fly by the seat of your pants?
I think the first thing is you have to be adaptable, right? We have a base plan and a philosophy for how we want to approach it, but then you got to be adaptable based on, whatever changes and things are going to occur. I mean, the reality of it is every 6 months, every player on your team's a free agent, and you have to operate in that sort of sense. There are some things in place that you can try to do to help yourself. Like right now, we're currently trying to get as many of our players on 2-year contracts as possible. We'll be working contracts, trying to extend some people during the bye week so that we're not bumping up into that end of the season stuff. And I know that sounds crazy.
It sounds insane.
There's really 3 ways to add players to your roster, build your roster each year. The first one is player retention, and retaining your own players on your team, I think, is most important. And so that's what we're trying to do first. The next one is then high school recruiting, and then the third one is the transfer portal. And all of them have advantages and disadvantages. The issue with the portal is it's probably more expensive. Just like, as y'all know, free agency, you're going to be able to get more money than your rookie contracts. High school recruiting is a little different because you're not sure how ready they are going to be to come in and play. So there's just a lot of unknowns. I think you have to be, like I said, adaptable. And then I think once you set your roster, you have to be really good at trying to build a team and build chemistry and get everybody to, we talk about just us, which is unity over self. You have to do a really good job of getting the team to be about the team. And I think that's probably the greatest challenge right now.
Now, Coach, does that, sorry, Mitch, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Does that, with the transfer portal, does that affect your coaching style at all? I'm old school. I'm 42, and
Ew.
Whenever I played hockey, not football, but there was tough love, right?
Oh,
when I was
yeah.
playing college hockey, and coach was hard on me, but in my mindset was like, I just need to be better. And
Yeah.
it seems in this day and age, again, it sounds like I'm sounding very old, but kids are softer and they don't want to deal with that. And with the ability to transfer without penalty and jump into the portal, like, does that change your coaching style at all, and the way that you handle some of those kids, I guess?
Actually, I think for us it was really more freeing. We when kids chose to be here, they chose to be here, and if you don't want to be here, you get the freedom to leave. And I think that's what's built our brotherhood so strong, really, in the past 3 seasons, is the freedom to coach hard. We're unabashed about who we are and how we talk about our core values and the way we're going to coach. And this is who we are. This is how it's going to be. And if this doesn't fit what you want, then don't choose to be here. But everybody that's choosing to be here is choosing to operate in this manner. Like I said, I think it's been freeing for me because it allows us to hold players to a standard that they've all chosen to be a part of. And I think that's what you got to do is, hey, when you choose to come here, this is the standard you're choosing to be associated with. And my job as the head coach is to hold everybody in this building, players, coaches, and everybody in the association, strength coaches, training staff, to that exact same standard. And as long as they believe that I'm doing that, then there's some cohesion amongst the players and the coaches that, hey, this is the standard. You hear all the time, the standard is the standard.
Sure.
The problem with that saying is it all depends on what your standard is. If your standard is losing football, then that's the standard. If your standard is lack of accountability, then that's the standard. For us, Elite Edge is the standard and always competes the standard, and guys have chosen to be associated with it. So, back to the original question, I think it was actually more freeing for me to be an old school. People think I'm a player's coach, which I do absolutely care and love our players, but I think there's been plenty of clips of me on the sidelines that people go, woof. And I think that's the adjustment for these freshmen. They're like, dude, this dude takes his glasses off, and out on the practice field, he's like losing his crap on me. It's like, yeah, because this is the standard that we all have to have in order to achieve our personal best.
And that explains a lot. I appreciate that, because it's one of those things where it's, hey, you either buy into the standard of what we're doing, buy into me, buy into my philosophy, buy into this team and what everybody else is doing. If not, here's the door. You have the ability to get out.
Yep.
Well, and speaking on that standard, Coach, you're always shooting for that standard every single day, right? Mm-hmm. And as a coach, you're going to say, well, we haven't met that standard, no matter how well you're doing, right? You push for it. That is the pinnacle. That is what we're looking for. But it seems like you guys are getting closer to the standard every single year, right? So 2020, 5-5, 2021, 6-7, 2022, 6-7, 2023,
Here we go.
11-2.
Yeah.
And 2024, 10-3, and you guys are off to a very good start here. Is there something that's changed? Is there something that changed between that 2022, 2023 season, or is this just like a slow burn that you've stuck to the course, you've told the guys what to expect, you're the same guy every single day, and then this just you kind of start reaping what you sow?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's kind of all the above. I think there's a reaping what you sow. It's really been the same style of approach, elite edge in the weight room. I think the biggest difference was in 2022, we lost 4 one-possession games. Since 2022, we're 11-1 in one-possession games. And that was an emphasis for us as a team, an emphasis for us as a coaching staff that, hey, if we're going to be a team that we want to be, we got to find a way to win those close games. I think there's a stat that'll come out this week. I think we've won, in 11 of those games, we've come from behind in 9 of them. So there's a belief in what we're doing. We talk about all the time, really, we want to be a tough team. Tough team, stop the run the football, and cover kicks. And we want to be a team that executes. And we talk about execution. We talk about play well under pressure, which is third downs, red zone, and then in the final 2 minutes of a game. And so I think since we've really just been harping on that, y'all played sports, man. You get what you emphasize, right?
Right.
And our guys just know it, they believe in it, and they've responded to it. Obviously, anytime you're in a building process, you get guys with a little bit more experience. The team from 22, a lot of them came back in 23, so they had that experience. That helped us. Once you get that 23 season, you're able to acquire more talent. I think we've significantly upgraded the talent on our roster each year, which has helped. So I think it's all those, right? It's the build, it's the establish the philosophy, it's the reap what you sow. And I give really a lot of credit to the fans and to the administration for not panicking, when the results weren't quite there. There was some social media panic, but from the biggest parts of our athletic department and from the boosters, there was no panic. They could see the process, and it's paid off.
Well, I think what helps so much in galvanizing a locker room, when you're knocking on the door of the next step in a program, you're preaching the standard, and then you're trying to implement it, and it might not be working quite yet, but you know that if you stick to it, it's going to matriculate into something worthwhile, right? Like is just being consistent as a person. And you are a treasure trove of quotations, Coach. And one of my favorite quotations, and one of my favorite Eli Drinkwitz quotations is, "I'm the dorkiest guy in college football, and I embrace it."
Yeah.
Wait, are you cool? Is he cool or not?
Dude, I'm the dorkiest guy in college football, and I embrace it.
Okay, just making sure he understood that.
Can you tell us the importance of being yourself as a coach?
Well, I think, I have this saying, respect is earned through predictable behavior, not loud performance. And I think if you show up and be the same guy every day, I think your players can respect that. Like, I didn't play college football. I wasn't good enough to play college football. I loved the game. I was a decent high school player, but wasn't good enough to play high school football. But that doesn't disqualify me from being a good football coach. And so I'm not going to try to be what I'm not. I can't walk into a room and command the room because of my size or my past experiences. What I have to command the room through is building trust and respect with our players, having a vision and a plan that I can articulate and get these guys to buy into, and then be consistent to it. And, if people think I'm dorky because I wear glasses or the jokes or whatever, that's all fine. I mean, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. People's opinions of me doesn't matter. What really matters is, will our guys believe in, not just our players, but our staff believe in the message, and will they give everything they have for 60 minutes to try to make it happen? And so far, so good.
We've all been around coaches, players, people in our profession that you just know. They change as the tide comes, right? Ebbs and flows. And it's one of the most debilitating things, I feel like, that attribute of changing who you are.
Yeah.
When you're trying, because it's counterproductive completely,
Right.
like, to your point. and it's hard, especially if you're unsure of yourself or you find yourself in a weak moment, right? Like it's easy to try to be someone you're not. And that is one of the easiest things to read through. And I think that when you start doing that's when you absolutely lose the locker room, lose friends, lose players. But it's not as easy as it seems, man.
Players sniff that out real quick.
Oh.
There's another thing that I have written on my wall. If they can't trust your mood, then they won't trust your message. And if your mood constantly changes, when you win, you're high. When you lose, you're low. They can't trust the message that you're preaching each week. I think in 2022, we were 2-4 going into the bye week, and we had lost 3 straight one-possession games, all heartbreakers. And there's that uncertainty of everything. And I was matter of fact with our staff and our players of, hey guys, we're 2-4, and we got an opportunity to go out there and with the next 6 games, we're going to go 4-2 and we're going to go to a bowl game. And so this is how we're going to do it. And just laid out a plan, went and had lunch with 3 key boosters and told them my plan, and it came to fruition. And I think that created a lot of, I wasn't a jerk. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't tossing stuff. I wasn't placing pressure on everybody else. It was just matter of fact of, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. And I think that taught me a lesson about, back in the day when you would lose, coaches would yell and dump ice and do all that different stuff. And there's always times for that. But for me, we're a lot more difficult around here. We'll be a lot more difficult today than we, after a big win than we are after a big loss. And that's just because I think you have to really make sure that there's not that relief syndrome. There's not that letting up on people. And so I think that was a good message and a good moment and learning for me. As we're on a pretty good run right here, I think the other thing I've realized is you're only as good as your next game. And so, the moment you get caught patting yourself on the back and thinking that you figured it out, football will kick you right in the butt. And, I've learned that lesson the hard way too.
Getting kicked in the butt. It's interesting you said that, Coach. Some of the best teams I've been around, you dreaded film after a win.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, dude. Yeah, you're seeing the family after the game. They're hooting and hollering. They've been boozing, having a good time, and you're sitting there just eating whatever food they have at the house, right? Pizza, chicken tenders, whatever. And you just know what's coming the next day, and they're trying to console you. Like, listen, you won the game. I'm like, I know, but I'm going to get my ass chewed tomorrow. But it does, I wouldn't say keep you on your toes, but it keeps you honest, right? And I think that's the biggest thing in this game, to your point. It is, what have you done for me lately? And just as high as people can be on social media, the same folks that you said a few years ago were calling for your head, right? If you ride that wave, you're screwed. Like, you got to perform, and you got to get to the fixables and what can we do better. But
I think you're right. It keeps you honest, and I think that's important as a player and both as a coach too. You got to be honest about the things that you have to assess, and it's interesting you said after a game, because I've got a new rule at my house, because obviously when you're coaching or playing at a high level, everybody wants to come, right? And they want to be a part of it, and it's awesome. But they show up at your house after the game, and you just went through 3.5 or 4 hours of the most excruciating work that you can do. And as soon as you walk in the door, they want to ask you a million questions. So I have a new rule. As soon as I walk in the door, nobody talk to me for 30 minutes. I need 30 minutes of decompression.
Sure.
I'm going to eat. I'm going to have a cold drink. And in 30 minutes, y'all can ask me whatever you want. But for the next 30 minutes, because I don't show up to your work, and think I'm going to have a great weekend and tailgate for 5 hours.
Well, on a side note, what kind of drink are we pouring? Is it one with a big cube? Or is it just something
I'm a big
like
cube guy.
Big cube guy.
I'm a big bourbon guy, but right now I'm into a Dictivo. It's a tequila that I think is pretty good, and it's got a little bit of a bourbon flavor. And if you compare that with the right Cuban cigar after a win, you got a pretty good evening on your hands.
Eli Drinkwitz, sophisticated palate.
Yes.
Well, hey, so talking about coming home, we've talked about you plenty as a football coach, but something that people don't know is that you are a father of 4 girls.
Yeah.
And I have one girl at home, and I just have something to ask you. Are you okay? Are you hanging in there?
You
You
know,
can give us you can give us the national sign of distress if not.
Yeah, blink twice.
we had family dinner last night, victory dinner on Sundays. And, so everybody's up there, and my youngest she'll turn 6 next week. And at some point during dinner, she started crying, and it doesn't even faze us anymore because the thing that I've realized with this many females, somebody is always crying. And it used to bother me, but now I just move on, But I've got a sophomore, I got a 7th grader, I've got a 2nd grader and a kindergartner, and it's awesome. It's been really good. I think I'm growing as a father. I read a book this summer called Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, and man, it was challenging about how to be intentional in raising your kids. And then I read another book called The 5 Types of Wealth, and it was extremely challenging because it talks about, especially at our age, we're all willing to sacrifice and work extra to try to gain financial wealth, and we think when we get 60 or 70, that's when we'll make up for the time lost.
Right.
And the reality of it is that's just not how it works. Your kids are only in your house for 18 years, and once they leave for college, the amount of time that you're ever going to see them again is greatly diminished. So you have to find a way to make sure that you're investing in them just like you would invest in your own wealth. And so those two things, man, really changed my perspective and outlook on being a dad and being a father. And man, it's something that I think a lot about lately.
Case, I got to start reading books. I have to, dude. I have to.
You talking about that? Well, you talking about the it reminded me, do you watch Modern Family, Coach?
I don't watch a lot of TV, but I've seen a few of the episodes.
Yeah, the one where his wife and the daughters and they all sync up in the
Oh
circle.
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that one. That's
and he's
pretty
like
cool.
looking at the calendar. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. He's like, yeah. Tries to put on the same. He puts on a movie so that
Yeah, but they all start crying though, and that's what he does.
Yeah. Somebody's always crying.
But what's so good about fatherhood, right, is perspective.
Yep.
And you are in a very emotionally charged profession. You could say that about plenty of professions, but do you find it difficult to not bring work home? Especially difficult. It's easy to bring great work home. It fires you up, all that stuff. Is it hard? Because for me, towards the end of my career is when I became a father, and there was really trying times. And, it's a shallow part of it was me being shallow, it was me being competitively immature, but it's hard not to bring bad work home. How do you navigate that? And is it something that you've gotten better with, or is it something that you still might have to check yourself at the door?
Yeah, I still got to check myself. And my wife actually does a really good job of doing that for me too. So in 2021, we just got absolutely destroyed at home. It was 61-21 or something by Tennessee. Is the worst defeat of my career, and it's my daughter's birthday, and I got to go home, and she's got a birthday party, and I'm acting like a complete ass, and my wife smokes me, and had every right to.
Sure.
Now, there's still times where when you're a CEO, when you're a high level athlete, there's going to be stuff where there's some tough days. And you got to have the freedom to get it all out, but you also have to understand that Coach Chiswick used to always tell us when we were at Auburn, like, don't take that stuff home. Your kids didn't sign up for you to be a coach, right? And that's not the job they chose. And so I think that was something that I've always kept in the back of my mind. I've been better and better, but there's still a few times I get a phone call. And I'm having to deal with a knucklehead situation that ends up taking me away from my family or making me get up from family dinner, and that's just part of the job we signed up for.
Yeah, it was just so difficult. It was just dependent on the day, and it's one of my greatest regrets as a professional. It's great to hear your perspective. It's great to hear that a lot of people go through this, and I feel like it's one of those things you never totally master, and that's okay. I think that's just the human experience, right? That's just tough. We're going to switch up the tone of this, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. Okay.
All right.
All right. So one of the great things we do on this show is called Mitch's Mailbox. And what I've done and what Casey's done, he's worked a lot behind the scenes. We scour the internet. We put out posts in different forums like, hey, we're going to get to talk to Coach. And we find the best callers who have sent their videos in. And this week we only have time for one. This is, let me see, DK from Tipton, Missouri. DK from Tipton, Missouri.
Champ here. I'm all about having fun. You know, get up, go to a Mizzou game, ask Eli a couple questions. Here's my questions, Eli. Dear Eli, I have some questions. Eli, my friend Drinkwitz. Drinkwitz is the 3,144,416th most common name in the world. Eli, for those that are friendly. In the United States of America, 39 people share this surname. My question, do you know all 39 Drinkwitz? We'll wait. Also, sir, Eli, you played in Alma, Arkansas, and you were named HFC Huddle Leader of the Year. Wow. Can you please give an example of your leadership in the huddle? How did you huddle us up? Please tell us, cite as many examples as you can. Finally, your pops there played at Luther College in Iowa, and he used to regale you with stories of his playing days. Can you share one? Or are they all too dirty? Are they dirty stories, Eli? M-I-Z! How about those cheese?
That's incredible.
Whammy!
I went to a family reunion probably when I was, 14. And my brother, I got two brothers, and one of my brothers has a son, and that's the only son. I'm shocked that there's 39 Drinkwitzes in the United States. So no, I don't know all 39, but one of the negatives, is not having a boy. There's not a whole lot of Drinkwitzes left, so that's a tough deal. What was the other question?
And then the other question was
FCA.
Yeah, your huddle. Do you have any good huddle stories? Because you seem to be the king of the huddle as a young man.
Yeah. Not really. That's one of those things you put on your bio you're not quite sure about to try to get some scholarship money. But my dad played football. I got two good stories about this. One, they used to call him the Gray Ghost, and he had a great season his sophomore year and leading rusher, and so my dad actually went up to Luther last summer and went to the library, and they found these articles that were written about him in the school newspaper, and that was really, really cool. And then last couple of years, I actually changed agencies, and I went with an agency in Los Angeles called WME, which has actually changed to Win Sports now. But it was started by a guy named Patrick Weitzel, and Patrick is pretty famous. I think he's Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's agent.
We've heard of them.
And,
yep.
He actually went to Lutheran too, and so it's home of the Norsemen, and so that was kind of a cool connection when I changed agencies.
The Norseman, the white ghost. Is that what?
Yeah.
I assume your
Gray
dad was
Ghost.
Or the Gray Ghost.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful thing, man. We appreciate.
That's a great nickname. I mean, come on.
Let's talk about it. The Gray Ghost.
The Gray Ghost. He was
That's
a fullback, so I guess he was such an elite runner. They couldn't tackle him. That's why they called him.
Was he gray? Because
I think that was the uniforms, but I'm not.
Not from his
that.
shade of white.
Yeah, tough to get film on the Division III Lutheran Norsemen, back in the day.
They just
Not as easy as finding PFF.
sure. Oh, PFF! Don't get me started on PFF. Don't. PFF can lick me. Okay, so the last segment we're going to do is just called gut reactions. We're going to put two photos up, and I want you to do is just don't even think about it. Just give us your gut reaction. This next segment's brought to you by Paddington Golf Club. You can tell I'm bald. I like covering my bald head. And recently I've been covering my bald head with Paddington Golf Club apparel. It brings two beautiful things, which is golf and dogs together. Great brand with an even better cause. 10% of all the proceeds go to dog shelters, and you can't get behind that. I don't want to be your friend. Now, back to the segment. The first is a group photo from 2013. Okay? Case, when did you put that up? Ew, dude.
Bunch of trained killers. Is that Evan Boehm in the middle?
Yeah, it's one of you. Yeah, that guy's on your staff, man. So congratulations.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So it's you can smell this picture, can't you?
Oh my gosh! I'm glad he put the iPad over his balls.
Yeah. Okay.
You
So
know?
that's Max Copeland. For some reason, he wanted to say "carpe diem," just because he was smarter than all of us. Seize the day. I mean,
Hey, was Henson y'all's coach that year or no?
Henson was our coach. Yeah, he was actually our offensive coordinator. That was his first year of him being our offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And so he was still splitting duties. And we also had a guy named Bruce Walker who, oh man, I don't know if you ever met Bruce.
I did.
He's a great coach. I think more than his football acumen, it was his ability for him to get you to run through a wall.
Yeah.
Man, he could make you do some ungodly things on the football field. So God bless him. Yeah, you got so we also decided to grow our hair out that year.
Yeah.
And I mean, so Connor's got some delicious hair, all those guys. And that actually leads me to the next photo. Give us your gut reaction to this guy. Boom.
Oh my.
Yeah. You can also smell that through you can smell that guy through the camera too, dude. That was so baller is your thing. I appreciate you. You know how to flatter a man. But the great thing is
big forehead. You had a big forehead.
Big ass
forehead guy.
Big ass forehead. Yeah. And this is the end of that growing the hair phase. Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm a mixture of a Civil War general who was on the wrong side of history, as well as a guy really good at making Kentucky Fried Chicken right there. And my mom, jokingly, what I first thought was a joke, said, "Hey, you're not coming back to my house with that haircut." And this is the Cotton Bowl, so it's in Dallas, and we live in Austin, so we get to drive home after the game.
Yeah.
And she, unbeknownst to me, had set up an appointment at her hair salon. And this old gal, and it's the first time I haven't gone to Great Clips in my young life. She's taking a hair salon, and she is working like a dog. And at one point, she looks at me and she goes, "Son, you should probably prepare yourself for a life without hair here very soon." And I was just like, what I wanted to say was, "Shut up, you old biddy." But she was a nice gal, and she was right. I've been bald for many years, and that was the start of it. Clumps of hair used to come out in the helmet, Coach. It was
I'm dreading it. I'm getting close. Andrew Luck has that burner account called Colonel Luck or whatever. That's pretty good. You could have one called Lieutenant Morris.
Oh man.
And that'd be a great account for following. So
burner account.
Hey, I'm going to give Josh Henson a shout out. They're doing a heck of a job. I know the record's not reflecting that yet, but they're very competitive. And last week versus USC, he had this unbelievable play where they handed off the inside zone to the tailback. Did y'all see this?
I did.
And
see
then the
this,
tailback
yeah.
runs to the line of scrimmage, and then he throws it back to the quarterback. And I'm like, that's the most unbelievable play I've ever seen. So he's on the cutting edge, man, and that was some good stuff.
He was also known for putting a large ice cube in a cup.
Yeah.
And putting that in there. And then for some reason, after one or two large ice cube drinks, the Holy Spirit would be at work in his mind with football. Also, I mean, since you're talking about, is it cool to see Gene? Talking about Gene, he's at Florida State now, right? Is he the offensive coordinator at Florida State? Am I wrong there?
Who, Gus or Chip?
Gus.
Yeah,
no, Gus. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So,
you were with Gus for quite some time.
Yeah, I was Coach got me started. I was a high school football coach with him, and then got a chance to go to Auburn. Then I got a chance to go to Arkansas State with him. It's really cool. It's funny you bring it up. Coach Chiswick, actually, his son is our defensive GA. So Chiz has actually been up to a couple of games, watching the game, and then obviously Gus is coaching at Florida State, and
he's doing a great job, man.
It's been an interesting season going from, being those guys used to be up here and I was down here, and now I'm the head coach and they're assistants and on TV, and it's just the changes of life,
The seasons of life, Coach. And in this season, you slumped down to our level and joined us schmucks on our show. Coach, we cannot thank you enough for coming on, spending some very memorable minutes of your day with us. And we can't thank you.
Dude, I appreciate the opportunity, and maybe this off season we got a little bit more time. We'll dive into a few more, hobbies and some other stuff.
Well, I also like drinks with big ice cubes too. So I'll bring some stuff over, some brown water. I can't drink too much or I'll get emotional, but I'm more of the tequila guy myself now because I know exactly what I'm getting. This is Eli Drinkwitz. Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and have a blessed day, man.
M-I-Z.
Z-O-U, my friend. Well said. Until next time, Coach, take it easy.
And there's nothing I can do about it now.